Hello everyone, JCC2224 here, and I am happy to show you my new Marvel and DC figure displays for the studio. Now, they're kind of small, and this isn't my entire Marvel Legends collection, and it's not my entire DC collection. I have a lot of other stuff in a different room. However, I wanted to have some of my favorite stuff in here, and I wanted to just make the displays as simple and easy on the eye as possible. So I took out a lot of weird things, I took out a lot of different scaled things, a lot of duplicate characters, just to make it as compact as possible. Now you can see some duplicate characters did remain, like all of my Venoms, because he's one of my more prominent characters in the collection. I have some things on the side of the shelves like Spidey and Doctor Doom. Of course I have the McFarlane Spider-Man in the middle because he is like a huge pride and joy to my collection. And then we just have some other random stuff. I have all the Spider-Man and the symbiotes in the middle, and then off to the sides it kind of branches out to other characters. You can see in the back they're kind of hard to see in certain angles. However, with how I have the lighting now, you can see all the symbiotes pretty well. You can see we have various Spider-Man. I have so many Spider-Man figures, it's crazy. And then we just have some Spider-Man villains and then other Avengers characters, and then it moves over to Guardians of the Galaxy. I just have some of my definitive versions of characters here, like the definitive Star-Lord. I just really tried my best to keep it as compact as possible. Overall, I do think it looks really good. I'm generally happy with the Marvel display. However, I kind of wish I would have been able to fit more stuff on here, and I kind of wish the Spider-Man stuff would have its own shelf. However, even with this studio, where I really tried my best to give stuff as much space as possible, I did have limitations. I did keep certain minifigures here from Lego, like the Ultron stuff, and over here you can see some of my more random Marvel Legends, guys that really don't fit in elsewhere. I have a few X-Men in the back there, they're kind of shadowed, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So that's generally the Marvel shelf. Here we have the Batman shelf, and as you can see, it is a little more crowded than the Marvel shelf. That's because it's lower to the ground, so you can see more of the stuff. It's not really blocking one another. I do have the Icons Batman off to the side there, so like the Spider-Man and Doctor Doom above, and you can see this is just a lot of figures. You can see the Arkham stuff in the corner here, particularly Arkham Asylum. All of my other Arkham stuff is in another room, and I really tried to just keep it as compact as possible while at the same time keeping it as easy on the eye as possible. These were probably two of the hardest shelves to make in the studio, especially the Batman shelf. I actually had it where the Marvel shelf was above, but I had to move it down. You can see all my Lego Batman stuff, one of my favorite Lego themes. I kind of wish I could get myself into this more, but Lego nowadays is just so expensive, and I focus mostly on figures. You can see here my Harley Quinn display, really tried my best to kind of put all of those together. And here we have my general DC stuff. I have the, DCUC Bane and Scarecrow and Man-Bat, some of my favorites. Still really hoping to get a good Joker and Batman in that collection. Just some other random Batman stuff like the Dark Knight Returns and Batman vs. Superman, Nightmare Batman, just super random stuff. And a little more Arkham with a Deathstroke, Nightwing, and Red Hood there. I just kind of tried my best to get as much of my favorite stuff here as possible while at the same time still just showing this is Batman stuff. Here you can see just some carded Mr. Freeze stuff that will eventually lead to the Mr. Freeze shelf. Obviously, Mr. Freeze is my favorite DC villain. He's my favorite villain, I can pretty much say. So I do have all the Mr. Freeze stuff on display. I do not have the stupid freaking spider leg Mr. Freeze on display, though, because that thing's just terrible. But you can see Arnold Schwarzenegger Freeze, Gotham Freeze, the Super Powers Freeze, repaint, animated Freeze, and then going up here we have Arkham City and just some, like, bath toy Mr. Freeze figures, and just a lot of other random stuff, related to Mr. Freeze. Now right here we have the Iron Man shelf, which as you can see, zooming out, is right by the ceiling. So it was kind of difficult to film this segment, but I tried my best to give you guys a good look at the Iron Man shelf, because it's just so much Iron Man. It's probably one of the biggest character focuses I have. And then over here we have non-Tony Stark stuff. We have, War Machine, Iron Patriot, Iron Skull, all that stuff. I made note to just have one comic and one movie Tony Stark figures. In the back row for all of these, we have the comic ones, and then in the middle row is the Mark II through 41, and then the bottom row is the Mark I, and then it's the 42 through 47. Is that right? I think that's right. Phew, it's really hard to keep track of all these freaking Iron Mans. You can see down there is some of the other Marvel Universe 3¾ Iron Man and then some Lego Iron Man. I do have most of the 3¾ Iron Man figures that aren't this, however, those are in a different room. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much this video. Make sure to come like, subscribe, check out my Facebook and Instagram pages if you have a chance. And the next video will be on the Transformers displays in the studio. And then it'll be the general studio as a whole after a few other videos. Have a good day, guys. And as always, may the Force be with you. Bye.